Hey guys, welcome back to We Watch Movie. I am Mike, and this is the latest version of our Scream series. This is a series where we go through and take deep dives into all the movies inspired by Wes Craven's 1996 classic. And I gotta tell you, when I went to see The Blackening, which is in theaters now, and this will be spoiler free, I did not expect to be doing it just like Scream about this. You know, we've done movies like Cherry Falls, and we've done The Curve, and we've done, you know, we're gonna do I Know What You Did Last Summer, all the original suspects. But it's nice to know that like new movies that come out can also still have that. And that just goes to show how much of a impact Scream had on horror movies as a whole. I have a hole. This movie is directed by Tim Story, who directed Barbershop. He directed Fantastic Four. Those are two very different movies. And as soon as I saw the poster for The Blackening with the "We Can't All Die First," I was hooked. Because as a 90s kid, we grew up in a time of like the scary movies, you know, Clerks, Don't Be a Menace, American Pie. Meta, over-the-top, offensive comedy was just our shit then. So in the movie, a group of college friends get ready to get fucked up and play some cards, literally, stumble across a really fucking racist board game. Think Candyland mixed with Trouble if the bubble was a talking blackface. They quickly realize they are trapped in the house and have to play the person who's controlling the thing's game as they're picked off one by one when they get answers wrong or try to escape. Now, I'd have to get into spoilers to actually get deep into the just like Scream isms on these, so I'll just be vague about them, but it's just like Scream in the way that first off, the opening sequence, the title drop, that entire part could have been right out of a Scream movie where you've got this big event that happens to open up the movie to set the tone for the movie, and then you've got an interesting badass sort of title drop that comes up with the music and everything. That could have been straight out of Scream, so that reminded me of it there. And immediately when I saw that, I got to thinking, oh, hey, the self-referential comedy at the expense of horror tropes and other horror movies and stuff like that. You know, obviously, like with the We All Die First, that's in this. That's another one. There's the mystery of who's behind it all, trying to figure out who the killer is, who these people are that are doing this. And there's also other intrigue and stuff that's going on behind the scenes that's unveiled as the movie goes along. There's multiple meta movie references from Get Out to literally Scream 2 at one point. You've got young, hip characters and intertwined relationships being picked off one by one, and then ultimately a reveal, and at some point you get a monologue as well. So after this was over, I was like, yeah, that belongs totally in this category. There's a lot of fun parallels to Scream in it. As far as the movie itself goes, first off, it's not scary at all, but I don't think it was ever intended to be, so you can't really knock the movie for that. But that being said, they didn't go full-blown scary movie with the comedy. They didn't go full-blown horror with the horror. They never really went all the way into anything, so it's serious enough while watching it, even with the comedy and then jokes and shit, that if they wanted to take it seriously and try to throw some actual scares in there too, and make this a horror comedy with some actual horror, they could have done so. So it was almost a little bit disappointing that they didn't decide to do that there, because again, it doesn't go all the way in any direction. It's just kind of a mishmash of several genres, and you know, jack of all trades, master of none. That's the saying. It's not, there's no jacking.
Fool me once. Shame on you.
No.
If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
But if you're going to this movie as a horror fan, you will enjoy it because it's got all the horror tropes, all the comedy behind the horror stuff. Like, horror fans will enjoy the movie. If you're someone going to this to have horror actually elicited from your bones, you will obviously be disappointed with that, but I'm pretty sure the trailer made that clear in itself. As far as the comedy goes, there's going to be jokes that miss in these movies, and there's a few jokes that miss for sure, but there's also a few belly laughs, and mainly most of them, I'd say 90% of them coming from Jermaine Fowler's character. He's the one that in the trailer was like, I voted for Trump twice. You know, he has this weird almost if Eddie Murphy played Urkel, and he's absolutely hilarious. He's a standout of the movie for me. Like I won't say any of the quotes that he said, but they're like, literally we were laughing about him on the way home from the theater. Me and my daughter were. I can't say him because that would be a spoiler, would ruin the lines, but his tone delivery, like his line delivery, his timing was so good, it'll have you actually spitting out your drink at certain points. He was fucking hilarious. The rest of the characters were all enjoyable, and the movie itself, honestly, is just kind of filled with this natural joy. Like, the good time the cast is having really does translate to the audience. I feel like a lot of times the vibes of the ensemble kind of makes up for some of the lackluster jokes. There's a few jokes and gags throughout the movie of people getting fucked up and like different drugs, like some dude dancing on Molly or whatever. whatever, that some of them are pretty funny. There is one where this character takes Adderall, and it could have been a great sequence, but like I feel like whoever wrote that's never actually taken Adderall before, because like it just didn't make sense. Like that's not actually what Adderall does to you. So that one kind of fell flat. But the movie itself is a party, and that's its greatest asset. Which you wouldn't think it would be in a movie that a dude's wearing a collector-ish mask and hunting down people one by one with a crossbow. But that's just another just like Screamism, isn't it? We're watching people get murdered, but we're having fun. The killer itself, it's kind of generic, you know, it's just like I said, it's a pretty cool mask, and he has like a wrestler's voice when he's talking, but they do this pretty cool thing with these TVs around the house, and it does kind of elicit this sort of Get Out vibe. They have these TVs around the house that the killer is controlling, and sometimes he will like flop on it. I don't know where you flop on a fucking TV, but he'll throw on a TV around the characters, and they'll watch him either kill somebody or he'll be talking to them on this old school tube TV, giving them instruction, and it kind of gives off this sort of neat little manhunt vibe if you ever played the game on PlayStation. It's nowhere near that gnarly or fucked up or scary, but it's just kind of that weird sort of vibe with his mask and the way it all looks. I enjoyed that. So when The Blackening wraps everything up, it stays on brand for its entire movie. You know, it was fun, it happened, it was entertaining to watch, and I can barely really remember any of it. Like, that's not a knock against it, it's one of those movies that's a good time to watch, but there's nothing particularly that memorable about it either. But I think it actually could have been, and the reason why is because the cast is all so good, and the setup was really good. I just don't think it ever went there, and as far as the comedy goes, when they did do the comedy, it was very one note. I mean, we just kept going back to the same racial jokes over and over and over again, and, you know, I'm sure that there's an audience for that. It's not me, and it has nothing to do with being offended or them being jokes about white people or anything like that. I don't care at all. Like, I make fun of myself, make fun of other people, not completely unbothered. It's just that they were unoriginal, you know, like we've heard these same jokes a billion times. It's like when you watch a stand-up comedian and they do that one damn joke over and over and over again. You're like, damn, I'm really tired of this. This topic was funny for like 9 minutes, man, but we can't do a whole hour and a half on it. Which is especially frustrating for this movie, because when the comedy isn't forced divisive like race jokes, then it actually manages to feel fresh because the characters are having so much fun with it and they're all so likable. And there's also a very weak subplot involving these two characters being friends, and she's dating a new guy, but that character's mad about it because he cheated on her before. And it's a very just undramatic storyline, but the movie handles it as though it's really dramatic, so much so it even interweaves into like the final reveal and the final act at the end. And you're like, I don't think anybody cares. But in the name of the guy inevitably typing, why can't we just shut our brains off and enjoy a fun movie from time to time? The Blackening succeeds at its most important thing, and that was, it was a good time. It was a party to be had. So in the end, it succeeds, but you can't help but watch it and go, there was some pillars there to create something way more memorable than what we ended up getting. But still, it was a good time, and that's all they fucking promised us. I give The Blackening a 6.5 out of 10. I think that, again, horror fans will enjoy it for all the horror tropes, and just anybody will enjoy it for the comedy and the characters who are having so much fun on the screen. And Scream fans will get a kick out of, like I said, the just like Scream isms of it all. Ism sounds like jism. Hey, what's some just like Scream movies you guys would like me to see me do next on the series? I've already recorded a review for Pray at Night, The Dark Wonders. My Soul to Take is going to be the next one, but give me some other ideas for it. And hey, I love your all's fucking faces. I hope you guys have an amazing day. And don't forget, don't you do it. 7 days. You have 7 days. No, you're not going to fucking die. I'm not going to call you and send the ring girl to your house. 7 days of free Patreon, over 50 extra live streams that you may have never seen before, over 70 movie commentaries on there for free for 7 days. Just check it out in the link below on our Patreon link. Join the $10 a month tier, and it'll give you 7 days of that for free. So do it, or I'll break it off. I love your fucking faces. Hope you guys have an amazing day. Mom and Dad are gonna be so mad at me when they find out I'm in love with my friend Billy. Well, he's got a white shirt, tight little jeans, kinda wanna put my P in his B. He hit me with the phone, I wished it was his dick. You cut me too deep this time. You cut me too deep this time. Woodsboro will never know me and Billy were more than bros. So get it up, live her. Sharon Stone. Woodsboro will never know me and Billy were more than bros, so get it up, leave her alone. He was my Sharon Stone.